Media Bias Tracker for January of 5th, 2024. I'm on the road, so if this looks a little bit janky, that's why. And if it sounds janky, that's also why. I'll get it dialed in over the coming week as I remain on the road to go see CES. Well, the overriding two stories today are Cybertruck things, not good, and the recall in China. Not a recall, but that's what they're calling it. Tesla Cybertruck gets less than 80% of advertised range at 70 miles an hour in the biting cold. Yeah, that's how it works. That's like saying Honda gets 20% less than its stated range while driving in the city as opposed to the highway. Guess what? That Honda's going to get about 50% less range because gas cars are optimized for high speed, not low speed. Tesla's Cybertruck is finally with us. That's fine. A real-world test of the range, yes. Tesla lowers Model Y, S, and X range estimates following exaggeration complaints. That's not what it's following. The EPA revised their test standards, as people have been asking them to, and now Tesla has revised their numbers based on the new test cycle. What are you doing, The Verge? As always, The Verge of news. Elon made 3 big mistakes at Tesla. Here's how to fix them. Terrible barons. By the way, don't take advice from barons. They're terrible. Breaking views. Elon Musk can make a national champion. We covered this one before. Just as Tesla loses the EV crown, Elon Musk's biggest market in Europe pulls the rug. Terrible. Just dumb and wrong. How China's BYD beat them at their own game. So quite a few of the BYD headlines. Elon Musk once laughed at BYD. Now the Chinese giant has taken over. So that was 12 years ago. And 12 years ago, BYD was laughable. Their car venture was laughable. They've gotten it sorted out over the intervening 12 years. And guess what? Everybody laughed at BYD and everyone laughed at Tesla. And now Tesla and BYD are the world's 2 largest EV makers. Maybe, Tesla recalls more than 1.6 million cars in China. No, they didn't. Recalls. No, they didn't. They issued a patch. It's not a recall in China because words matter. If we were going to call it what it actually is, we would have called it a patch all along. We called it a recall because that's what NHTSA calls it. Ain't no NHTSA in China. It's a patch. Samsung announces collaboration. The only real good news is that Samsung and Panasonic and Tesla are going to be working together on home energy solutions. That's great. Range figures slashed in new figures. 6%. Slashed 6%. Autopilot safety patch hits 1.6 million Chinese vehicles. I call that neutral because it's not too bad. Come on now. Tesla quietly cuts range estimate. Yeah. Just delivered a record number of electric vehicles, but that isn't the best reason. That's positive. Motley Fool trying to get a click or two from everyone across the entire spectrum. Model Y estimates reduced. Recall. That's it, really, for the news. For Tesla, how'd they fare? -44, trailing 7-day of -24, and the chart look a little something like this. Normal. I mean, this is what we have come to expect from Tesla, from the coverage of Tesla. Not good. And why? Because negative clicks sell. They just sell. Let's talk about BYD. 62% is where that one ends. So I'm going to start at the top here. And BYD, again, we may need to discontinue coverage because it's so good all the time. There are a handful of stories. Almost all of them this week are record volume, huge numbers. And a few other things outside the country. How China's BYD beat Tesla at its own game. It's both of their game, but okay. Tesla trumps BYD and China's sales efficiency with real-time strategy. That's actually a negative one for BYD. Musk once laughed at them. Yes, this is positive for BYD. BYD breaks ground on its first sodium-ion EV battery plant. That's big news. That's very positive, and it's great news. Hopefully they work. It tells me if they're building the factory, they've got the chemistry dialed in. So these are all positive and neutral. bringing up Charlie Munger, a guiding force in BYD. No mention in the headline, certainly, that Berkshire Hathaway divested 60% at least of their holdings in BYD in the second half of the year. But the positive, it's still very positive. Everything you need to know about BYD, everything you need to know about the guy in charge. They're selling more cars than Tesla. Yeah, they sold 3 million electric vehicles and hybrids in 2023. It's just all positive and neutral with like one or two negatives. So let's see how that fares. Positive 79 for a week over week change of positive 12. Wow. But remember, all the news starts at the top and filters down to the secondary sources. And a lot of secondary sources have no way of doing any kind of original research, so they take the Chinese state media story and they run it as if it's their own. Because what other facts do you have? Okay, this will end around the CNN one. Got it? Just making sure so I don't go past the 25 story target. Again, not much news. Very little new news this week, so we'll see how it fares. The little guy's going for Neuralink's jugular. Neuralink to start human trials. Monkey death. Elon's brain startup is ready to start surgery. It's the same stories. There's not much new. This is another one we may need to drop to monthly. If we should cover VW EVs or Volkswagen generally, or maybe there's some good ones out there. Stellantis would be an obvious choice. We're already covering Ford and GM. There's no schedule on the screen right now, but you guys might know the schedule. So we'll get it figured out. Lawmakers to scrutinize Musk's comments on Neuralink. The gruesome story of how the monkeys died. Just terrible and dumb. Neuralink, positive 12. Even with all those bad stories, there were enough good ones in there and neutral ones that the final score is positive 12 for a week over week change of positive 4. It's up 4 points from last week. So let's look at everybody all together. And you can see, oh, this BYD number is wrong. This number is actually up here. That's an error. I'll get it fixed for tomorrow. But that BYD number should be up right about here. I'm on the road. I'm trying to do this in hotels on a whole new setup. I'll get it dialed in over the days. The Tesla numbers are correct. The Neuralink numbers are incorrect. It's not 0, it's 12, so that's also wrong. I will get that fixed as well. It should be about here. What did I miss? What did I misunderstand? How bad is the sound? It won't look like this tomorrow. This hotel, I'm in Barstow, I think. Is that where I am? And tomorrow I'll be in Vegas, and I'll be in Vegas for the better part of the week, and we'll have some fun. Lots of good new footage coming. Talk to you soon.